Kevin Webster's life took a shocking turn in Coronation Street recently when his wife, Abi Webster, confessed that she believed they should go their separate ways. Kevin's biggest nightmare, that Abi was secretly involved with his brother Carl, came true in dramatic fashion during Ronnie Bailey's birthday celebration after Abi accidentally sent a message meant for Carl straight to Kevin's phone. Abi and Carl had been drawn to each other from the very first time they met in Fresco's car park, and the fact that they were related through marriage only delayed what was bound to happen. Although Abi tried to stay loyal to Kevin, Carl's irresistible charm combined with Kevin's desperate lie about still having cancer in order to keep her close eventually pushed her to surrender to her emotions. Right now, Abi and her son Alfie are living with Carl at the Chariot Square Hotel, a setup that pleases no one, especially Carl, whose fling with James Bailey has been put on hold thanks to his girlfriend and her child moving in. So far, Abi hasn't appeared to realize that Carl becomes noticeably distant whenever she brings up talk of their future together. It's clear she's far more invested in the relationship than he is, especially now that he's beginning to feel the strain of everyday life with her. To Abi, this relationship represents a brand new beginning, a chance to build a shining future with the younger and less weathered Webster brother. And for that to happen, she knows she must make her separation from Kevin final. In the coming episodes, Abi and Carl find themselves facing financial difficulties. Since she can no longer work for Kevin, Abi tries her luck applying for a position at another local garage, only to receive a call saying she hasn't been hired. Convinced that Kevin has somehow interfered to ruin her chances, Abi storms over to number 13 to confront him face to face. Carl has his own scheme for earning some quick cash and secretly tells Dylan about a car he wants him to steal, but Dylan refuses to get involved. Abi, however, takes down the car's details, leaving everyone wondering if she intends to carry out the theft herself. Amid their financial troubles, Kevin is left livid and heartbroken when he opens a letter from Abi's solicitor, revealing that she's officially begun divorce proceedings. Could Abi be aiming to claim a share of the garage, and whatever savings Kevin has left? Todd Grimshaw faced a cruel dose of manipulation from his abuser, Theo Silverton, in Coronation Street after a nasty fallout over his supposed betrayal. In tonight's episode, Todd returned home nursing a heavy hangover. Earlier in the week, he had spent the evening at Billy Mayhew's flat, enjoying wine and chips after receiving the good news from the hospital that he was clear of bowel cancer. Caught up in celebration, Todd drank too much and failed to tell his boyfriend Theo where he was. When Theo called, Todd lied, claiming he was still at work. Later that night, Theo showed up at the funeral parlor with a takeaway, only for George Shuttleworth to reveal that Todd hadn't been there at all. Realizing he'd been deceived, Theo went looking for him. Outside, he spotted a clearly drunk Todd chatting with Billy at the flat door, and when Todd chose not to return home, he ended up crashing on Billy's sofa for the night. Since Theo couldn't actually hear what Todd and Billy were talking about, he jumped to the conclusion that Todd was about to cheat on him. Fueled by jealousy, Theo decided to get his own revenge. He went into town with his friend Pete and later brought him back to their flat. When Todd eventually returned home, he was stunned to see Pete stepping out of the bathroom wearing a dressing gown. It didn't take him long to realize what had happened. Theo had cheated. The discovery crushed him. However, Todd's heartbreak quickly turned into fury when he saw how little Theo seemed to care about what he'd done. Enraged, Todd told him he was going out and demanded that Theo be gone by the time he got back. Todd then headed to the pub, where Glenda was hosting her Mr. and Mrs. Quiz Night. The light-hearted event briefly lifted his spirits, until Theo showed up, trying to smooth things over. Todd ignored him completely and grabbed the clipboard to sign up for the quiz. Moments later, Glenda called Todd and Billy up to the stage for their round. As Todd and his ex worked together effortlessly, Theo's jealousy boiled over. Later, when Todd returned home, Theo put on a performance, spinning a pitiful story about how he'd only gone to the pub to apologize. With his manipulative charm back in full force, Theo twisted the situation until Todd began to feel guilty, his anger fading into confusion and self-blame. Todd admitted to Theo that he could be difficult to live with, and before long, the pair had reconciled. Adding to Theo's satisfaction, Todd later told Billy to keep his distance. When Billy stopped by to check on him, Todd gently confessed that it would be better if they didn't see each other for a while. The exchange left Theo feeling triumphant, yet again proving that his manipulation to cut Todd off from his friends and gain total control over him was working. Actor Gareth Pierce, who plays Todd, explained, "I think viewers will already be picking up on how relaxed Todd seems when he's around people like Sarah, George, and Billy, those he truly trusts. But as soon as Theo walks into the room, Todd instantly becomes tense and anxious, slipping into that people-pleasing, nervous state. It's that awful sensation you get in your stomach, like when you're at school and realize you haven't done your homework." It doesn't take long for Theo's temper to flare up again, this time triggered by something as harmless as Todd helping out a friend. Todd offers Sarah and her son Harry a lift, but things go wrong when Harry accidentally spills a milkshake over the back seat of Theo's new car. Terrified of how Theo might react, Todd braces himself for the worst. To his relief, Theo appears calm, but only while Sarah is still around. The moment they're alone, Theo's true colors show, and he unleashes his fury, accusing Todd of being careless and disrespectful. Trying to make amends, Todd promises to have the car professionally cleaned, but as he's reversing it later, he accidentally scrapes the paint, making things even worse. Gareth Pierce, who portrays Todd Grimshaw, revealed that initially Todd holds a naive hope that Theo might show some understanding. Todd tries to convince himself that everything will settle down smoothly, Pierce said. He clings to the idea that maybe Theo will behave differently, but as soon as he steps into the flat, he's confronted with Theo's typical narcissistic tendencies, all charm, smiles, and warmth when others are around. Yet the moment they're alone, the atmosphere shifts completely. Once they are inside the flat, Theo's reaction erupts violently as he directs a torrent of anger at Todd in a shocking and frightening display. Pierce explained further, "There's a fleeting moment where Todd allows himself to believe he's finally managed to put things right, that the tension might ease. But in that heavy, suspenseful silence, it quickly becomes apparent that nothing is resolved. What follows is one of those sudden, overwhelming outbursts of rage that viewers have come to recognize as Theo's pattern." Coronation Street airs on ITV1 every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m., and episodes are also accessible for streaming on ITVX and YouTube, giving fans multiple ways to follow the unfolding drama between Todd and Theo.